What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me, but I just got home off of an early morning flight, right? First thing through the door, I want to see my family. I love my family. You know, I'm a family man. I'm an advocate for families, right? Second thing, I got to get that hot shower because I got to throw the threads on. The threads make me feel like $1,000,000, but the third thing through my mind and all throughout the trip is that I gotta have that Teej pack. Teej makes my life uncomplicated. It's uncomplicated skincare for men. The first way that I started specifically was their level 1 system. It's a daily face wash to get rid of the dirt and grime on your skin. 2 times per week exfoliate and scrub to get rid of the dead skin cells. An AM moisturizer with SPF 20 because you should always be protecting your skin from the sun, and a PM moisturizer to help your skin stay hydrated and healthy throughout the night. Here's the thing. My favorite part about Teej Henley is that every box comes with an instruction card that tells you when to use each product, how much to use, and in what order. They really making the process of achieving and maintaining amazing skin for men uncomplicated. In addition to amazing skin, members of Teej Henley get tons of benefits, including at least 20% off the retail price, the ability to customize your box, exclusive monthly deals, you can pause and cancel at any time, and you get free shipping. And because Teej Henley is sponsoring today's video, they're offering my viewers an amazing deal, right? Just click the first link in the description and you get 30% off your first box, plus a free gift. It's an amazing deal. You got to get started today. You're not out here trying to look like a Dusty. And if you travel as much as I do, which I'm sure most people don't, but you know me, I'm pushing my bag chasers in order to be in the top 5%, top 10%, top 1%. We got to make our lives uncomplicated, and Teej Henley is no better product. You got to look good. You got to smell good. And you can't be looking like a Dusty. Make sure you get started today. Click the link in the description. Get that Teej pack. Feel the Teej, my friends. What's going on is Anton from AntonDaniels.com. I appreciate you guys for continuing to rock with me. Thank you for tuning in for another edition of the Millionaire Morning Show. I am your host, Anton Daniels, and I am very, very much excited to be before you guys today. Why is my TV not plugged up? Good grief. Can't do a show without actually being able to see y'all and talk with y'all and interacting with y'all in all of your glory. Now can we? What's up, friends and family? Did y'all enjoy the show last night? I thought it was an excellent show last night. Let me tell you something. I could never predict what's going to happen on a day-to-day basis when I live stream. It's one of the interesting things about live streaming. I cannot predict on a day-to-day basis what's going to happen. I don't know who's going to call in. I don't know if we're going to pivot, but that's one of the beauties of doing a live show is that you never know what's going to happen, and it's incredibly entertaining to watch. I think that's part of the allure, right? Very few people know how to put on a live show, especially by themselves. Very few people can do it, especially holding y'all attention for over 2 hours every single day, some days over 4 hours, depending on if I live stream at night on Mondays and Wednesdays and stuff like that. Very few people have the chops to be able to pull it off and hold people's attention for an extended period of time. But I am here, and here am I. What up, ladies and gentlemen? Let me go ahead and get a general idea of where you guys are located right now. Let me know in the chat where you guys is located right now. Is it Atlanta? Is it Detroit? What up, Mr. Lot? You said the dude that called in was in his little fifis. Atlanta, Detroit, New York, Chicago. Where my Chicago people at? What up, Mary? Where my Chicago Devastator? I appreciate you. I'm going to be reading these super chats shortly. My Floridians in the building, my Texans, Houston, Dallas, Chicago suburbs, Atlanta, Georgia, Cleveland. I love Cleveland. What up, Cleveland? Phoenix, Arizona, DMV, Chicago, Savannah, Brooklyn, baby. Detroit, Chi-Town, stand up. Atlanta, Detroit, Harrisburg, the Bronx, Chicago, Mount Clemens, Denver. I got to bring y'all to the front of the congregation tomorrow, Denver. South Africa. What up to my South Africans in the building? OKC, Kansas City, Brussels, Belgium, Lafayette, Indiana, ATL, Hawaii, Orlando, Richmond, Mount Clemens, Camden, New Jersey, Charlotte, Raleigh, Los Angeles, South Carolina, Memphis, Pittsburgh, Atlanta. What up? What up? What up? Wiley, Texas, Chester, PA, China. Y'all can hear me in China? That's crazy. San Antonio, Philly, Amsterdam, Los Angeles. Yo, we going worldwide out here in these streets. West side of Chicago, but you didn't vote for Brandon or Lori. East side, Cleveland, Marlboro, Peachtree Corners, GA. From Detroit, but in Arizona, Boston, Baton Rouge, Marquette, Jackson, Pensacola, Tulsa, Syracuse, Mississippi, Orlando, Ottawa, Ontario, Seattle, Memphis, New Orleans, Columbia, Greensboro, Birmingham, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, Jackson, Mississippi, Raleigh, North Carolina, DMV, man, Brooklyn, Toronto, Montgomery, Alabama. I'm going to Montgomery, Alabama. I haven't been there yet. Indianapolis, Sweden, PG, Margate, Atlanta, Santa Clarita. We global out here in these streets, said Jordan. Jordan said we global out here in these streets. What up, what up, what up, friends and family? I'm very excited to be before you this morning. Downtown Atlanta, says Tam Renee. What up? Virginia Beach, Derek, what's going on, friends? Hey, can we get it popping? Can we get started with the show? Let me go ahead and get the housekeeping out of the way. So this afternoon, you guys should expect to see a Patreon post and update that highlights. Y'all notice how I ain't got the other Rolex on today. I got the actual sub. This is my very first Rolex that I've ever bought. This is the sub. This is the black sub that I bought. And you know where I bought this from? I went to Chicago, and I just so happened to walk into an authorized dealer, and I wound up buying this Submariner. Yes, I did. My very first, well, it was in the suburbs of Chicago because the taxes is a little bit cheaper, but my very first Submariner, my very first Rolex, I purchased it in Chicago. Ain't that funny? Ain't that crazy? And everything is coming full circle. Everything is coming full circle, how we bringing Chicago back to the front of the congregation. Don't worry about it. I decided I wanted to go stainless steel today. This is the date. This mug is looking brand new. It's in just as, this watch is just as beautiful and just as new as when I first bought it. You never forget your first. Y'all be caring about y'all first chick that y'all bust down. Now, I don't care about that hoe. I care about the first. You never forget your first. Yeah. See that? You never forget your first. You never forget your first. What up, Chicago? What up, what up, what up? Hey, Patreon update today. Make sure y'all tap into it because I'm dropping information this afternoon/evening about the Invest in Your Business series and the funding that I will be putting together for you guys to make sure that you guys are taken care of. Absolutely great thing. So make sure you get into that. Also, Teach Hanley, 30% off your first order plus a free gift. We definitely getting there, straight up. Also, on top of that, what are we missing? What are we missing? Housekeeping. I'm going to be vacationing in Miami over Christmas, okay, but that's not really housekeeping. I don't know if I'm going to do a meetup for New Year's Eve in Miami. I got to figure that out. Hey, when you fly to Miami, and this is a tip, just a travel tip for a lot of y'all. When you go to Miami or when you fly to Southern Florida for Christmas, the holidays or whatever, there's only 3 places that you can fly to that has the best weather in the United States of America. Number 1, they say is Hawaii, but we kind of ruled that out since with some logistic problems, but also they had the wildfires out there, so I decided to not go to Hawaii. That's the best weather in the United States. Number 2 is Miami. Southern Florida is the best weather outside of Hawaii in the wintertime, or specifically for the holiday season over the wintertime. And then third on the list is San Diego. So if you guys are thinking about going out of town next year, or you want to plan for that ahead of time, those are the three places with the best weather. And I've learned to love Southern Florida in the wintertime, so I will be down there. I don't know if I'm doing a meetup or anything like that, but I will keep you guys informed as to what's going on. Also, on top of that, if you fly down there at that particular time, they know that everybody is coming down to South Florida for the wintertime. So the prices is crazy, even for the airline prices. Yo, I got 3 airline tickets to go down to Miami over the holidays and the New Year and stuff like that. So I'm going to be spending my time down there. And my tickets was $7,000. No cap. $7,000. My plane tickets alone. We're not talking about accommodations, rental cars, all of that stuff. Shout out to Christian West. I appreciate you. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. My plane tickets alone were $7,000. The regular main cabin was $3,000. First class was $7,000. It's crazy. And the reason that I mention that is not to stunt, but the reason that I mention that is because it's a conversation that we need to have today based off of a conversation that EYL started. So Earn Your Leisure started the conversation about what wealth looks like, okay? And that's the theme of the show. The reason that I named the show Richard Fain is because Richard Fain is the most recent person to comment about it. Richard Fain is the most recent person to comment about it, okay? And I find it interesting that this conversation continues to go on. And so I want to go ahead and review his video because he mentioned it and then he mentioned me also, which is interesting, but I'll get into that shortly. And we talking about generational wealth today. Cost of living, wealth. Obviously, we got to bring Chicago back to the front of the congregation. And I got a little bit of a surprise for you guys. So we're going to go back to a space that we went to yesterday. But we having this conversation about what is wealth, what is rich, what is comfortability, what is success. And I want to deep dive into it. So we're going to get there. Let me read some of the super chats. First, let me give a shout out to my dog, Mike That Dude. Mike That Dude always holding me down on Cash App. So I appreciate you, my friend. P. Shank says, good morning, Mr. Daniels. Enjoy your day. Thank you, P. Shank. And I appreciate you for holding me down, my friend. 187 says, Wagwan, big bro, belly full, but I'm hungry as F. Shout out to 187. I appreciate you. Devastator says, good morning, Chad and Anton. Caught the last bit of the stream last night. I like my legends too. Nia Long is for the streets. I passed my girl Angela Bassett though. Fire. Angela Bassett been married. She one of the few women that's been holding it down for us out here in these black streets. Fob Brown says, yo, big dog, last night's show was absolutely phenomenal. Shout out to you and my dog, Freezy. Shout out to Freezy. We're going to get to it 2=1. I get to it. I'm going to tell you exactly what happened. Q Nundrum 93 says, bruh, it's getting to a point where I can't pass up any of your commentary. Keep it going, broke man's corner. Shout out to Q Quinundrum 93 in the building. I appreciate you for holding me down. 187 says, Anton, did you see my email about interviewing Dr. Ray Hagans? And would you be interested? I did see it. I don't know. I got to figure it out. We can have a conversation about it. Christian West. Shout out to Christian West. Mr. West is in the building, says, I was able to go to the Bahamas this past week with the family, and thanks to the game you provided. Shout out to the bag chaser. Keep doing God's work, and I hope everyone has a blessed day. Thank you for that 50 ball. Thank you for pouring into the congregation plate. And I love, and I'm going to continue to read super chats throughout the show just to make sure that I'm holding you guys down and I'm acknowledging you. I do not ask for anything, but you guys see the value that I bring, and so you decide to jump into it. But make sure you jump inside of the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. How about we go ahead and get started with the show? Y'all think we should go ahead and get started with the show? Let's get started with the show. So the first thing that we've been starting off with over the last week and a half is quick hits. Quick hits, ladies and gentlemen. So number one on the quick hits list is the actor strike is over. I don't know if the actor strike actually affects what we see over in Hollywood. I don't know if it affects what we see over in Hollywood because the Marvel Cinematic Series has been nasty. And then also, I don't think that anybody is missing it anyway. But let me give y'all a little bit of summary of what's going on with the actor strike.
Breaking news overnight out of California, Hollywood actually, the longest actor strike in history is finally over. Last night, union leaders voted unanimously in favor of a tentative deal, which they are calling a major victory. Carter Evans has more from outside the studios, Sony Studios in California. Carter, good morning. What do you know about the deal?
Well, good morning. Exact details of this new contract are limited. SAG-AFTRA is promising to tell us more after its national board reviews the contract tomorrow, but the union does say it is a deal of extraordinary scope.
The celebrations have begun now that the actor strike is finally over.
It's been a long 118 days, and we are so happy.
So far, it's been a very, very strong chorus of excitement and approval.
Chief Union Negotiator Duncan Crabtree Ireland says details of the tentative 3-year agreement, which striking actors had been fighting for since mid-July, won't be released until tomorrow at the earliest.
Are actors going to be happy with this deal?
I think so. I mean, this is the first time that we've ever had a deal that was valued at over $1 billion in gains during the term of the contract, and that really means a lot.
Here's what we do know. SAG says the tentative deal includes not only a first-time bonus for streaming, but also unprecedented provisions for consent and compensation that will protect members from the threat of AI.
We intentionally designed, especially our AI protections, to set standards that can actually evolve with changes in the industry. We don't want to see performers replaced. We want to see performers augmented and lifted up.
The studios say they're looking forward to getting back to work. The Producers Alliance says the tentative agreement represents a new paradigm, including the largest increase in minimum wages in the last 40 years.
How quickly will we see productions resume?
The studios are going to try to ramp up production as quickly as possible.
Matthew Bellany says the demand for actors' services might now outstrip supply.
There's going to be a logjam. Everybody is going to be fighting over these actors because we've got 6-8 months of productions that all want to shoot at the same time. And actors can only be in one place at one time.
So the actors can technically get back to work starting today. They can also promote their films and TV programs again. That is good news for completed shows that are just waiting to be released. Also, award shows. Even the Oscars was up in the air until this agreement last night.
So let me ask y'all a question. Who actually cared? I didn't. I'm going to be honest with you. Who actually cared about the fact that, here's a better question. How did this affect you, or were you concerned? Did you see any drop off from the quality of the content that you consume on a regular basis? Do you think that the Hollywood studios were reeling as a result of it, or do you think that they probably saved a little bit of money as a result of it? Honestly, I didn't care. I wasn't monitoring it until it hit my desk, until somebody sent it to me in an email and said that the Hollywood strike was over. It didn't matter to me. What I thought was actually happening was they were making adjustments, the Hollywood studios, and eventually they were getting to a point to where they were realizing that they didn't need them as much as they thought that they did outside of the already shot productions that they either wanted to finish or they wanted to continue to promote. So, congratulations to everybody. I know everybody want to get paid. This is strike season. We knew that 2023 was going to be the season of striking. They had been on strike for over like 113 days or something like that. Yo, listen. I even remember back when we were younger, people actually cared about possibly becoming an actor. Of all the people that I coach, I only know one person that is actively pursuing acting, and I'm like on the edge of trying to talk them out of it, but we came to an agreement that you can pursue it in your spare time, but it's not going to affect what you're doing as far as bringing in resources to make sure that you take care of yourself and your family. But I don't know anybody whose life goal and dream is to actually be an actor. It's just not a thing anymore. You know what I'm saying? So nobody really cared, but they now have their thing together. They had better hurry up because everybody was going over to Tubi. I have never actually watched the Tubi movie, but I had seen it scroll up on my page, on my Instagram feed of some Tubi movie, and that junk was hilarious. It was so bad. It was so bad. So congratulations to you guys for making sure that you get your writer's strike popping off. UAW, new news with the UAW. The UAW and its members and its constituents are in for a $5,000 bonus. Pumped up by paychecks and a $5,000 pre-tax bonus, which means that money got to come out of that, and your union dues is going to come out of that. Did you know that when y'all get bonuses, it's taxed at the highest rate? We'll get there. With hit checking accounts of the UAW members, Detroit 3 shortly after the union members approved the tentative agreements in the next few weeks. You guys got a new ratification bonus that is coming your way. And so you guys can catch up on your house payments and your car notes when you were on strike for over 30 days. All right. The four-figure lump sum ratification bonus will be paid out within 2 weeks of the union membership ratifying the agreement, according to the United Auto Workers highlights published online for Ford Motor Company hourly employees and General Motors employees. Stellantis notes that ratification bonus payments will be made in the second pay period following written notification of contract ratification. So Stellantis is going to come a little bit later. Ford and GM, as soon as y'all ratify y'all contracts, y'all got y'all bonuses coming, and then it's got to get taxes taken out, and then in addition to that, you also get your union dues taken out. Says represented hourly employees at Stellantis are paid weekly. Represented salaried employees are paid every other week. Both groups receive ratification bonuses. Voting is ongoing at UAW locals. With members at the Detroit 3, those on strike agreed to return to work after the tentative contracts were reached in late October. For many, the money could be a windfall. So let me give y'all a little bit of insight before y'all just go out and y'all start spending a bunch of money on Christmas. Okay? Let me give you a little bit of insight before you run out and you blow a bag on Christmas. Catch up on your bills and let this be a learning experience in that you don't want to be in the position to where you're paycheck to paycheck. And then when something happens, such as a strike or a layoff or a life event, then you are going to be at a disadvantage. And it's hard, very difficult for you to see clearly when you are under duress. Jordan, be patient. I got you, big dog. It's very difficult for you to see things clearly when you are under duress. Lower your lifestyle, make the adjustments, get you a hustle. Don't wait until you're under a situation before you start to make the adjustments for what is best for you and your family in the future. Okay? These ratification bonuses, I know a lot of it is going to be swallowed up because y'all took out loans. There's a whole lot of people taking out payday loans, a whole lot of people taking out loans from these credit unions at high interest rates and stuff like that. Pay that junk off, put the rest of it in paying off your debt. Get this stuff paid off. Don't go out and buy a whole bunch of Christmas gifts. Make some adjustments, and then you'll be all right. All right. And then last but not least, Jeezy. So we all know that Jeezy came to the front of the congregation by releasing this interview with Nia Long, and he sat down for this hour-long conversation, and he opened up, and he talked about all kind of things, right? And people have been reacting to it, and I didn't want to speak too much to it. You could just go and watch the interview for yourself. But he basically sat down as a 46-year-old man and talked about that he's experienced love, but not necessarily unconditional love. He also admitted that his split from a Real Host co-star or Real Host co-host, the real co-host, has not been an easy journey. But he said that he can tell you that he's disappointed and that he's a bit uneasy. He said the decision to end this chapter in his life was not made impulsively and comes with a heavy heart. And despite this, his love and respect for her remains, and the time they spent together holds a cherished place in his heart. What are y'all thoughts on this whole thing about Jeezy and Jenny Ma? What are y'all thoughts about that? Do you think that it's a ploy or a stunt in order for him to reach a bigger fan base? Do you also think that as far as him leveraging these platforms, such as the interview with Nia Long, considering that she just got cheated on allegedly and broke up with, Do you think it's a ploy and a stunt for him to sell more books? He just dropped a book. His album just came out. Do you think that this is an actual different way for him to market? Either way, I think that it's good. I think that he's doing his thing. Black women are mad. They always going to be mad no matter what. So that's just that. And Jeezy is continuing to run up a bag. So that was quick hits. I wanted to go through that really, really quickly. And then we're going to go ahead and get started with the show. Y'all ready to get started with the show? Y'all ready to get started with the show? All right, let's get started with the show. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. Thank you, my friend, for holding me down, David Williams. Let's go ahead and get started with the show, y'all. So the first thing that I want to bring to the front of the congregation, and it's so difficult, but I promised you, all you got to do is answer the people. You ain't even got to have an interview with me, Mr. Johnson. All you got to do, you know what I decided that I'm going to do? Just right here, right this minute. Why do I have to go straight to Mayor Brandon Johnson when I can go to the alderman? It's 50 of them. In sales, what I've learned is something called the law of averages. The law of averages is the same thing that you guys apply to shooting your shots in the DMs. If you shoot your shot to 50 of them, it's a strong possibility that at the very least you're going to land on 5. You might be able to get out 2, and then you go from there and bust down 1. You know what I'm saying? But why? Why even go for the big dog when I can go for his henchman? I'm going to reach out to the alderman. I heard it's 50 of them, right? 50 different aldermen? That sounds so stupid and crazy. How do y'all got 50 people on payroll over in Chicago making money off of y'all? How? But let's talk about taxes, migrants, and then crime happening over in Chicago, and then we're going to go over for the rest of the show. But I need to bring y'all up to date and up to speed on what's going on, because I don't want you to forget. People forget about what it is that they went through, and then they vote the same way. But I want you guys to remember and pay attention, and we need to keep this at the forefront of what's going on until they start to do better. The minute that Chicago starts to have better results, or they pivot, or they start to make changes, we'll stop bringing them to the front of the congregation. But as long as news surfaces every single day about it, then we're going to have a conversation, because this is the most disrespected group of people as far as the residents and the constituents over in this area. And I think that they need some justice done on their behalf, so we're not going to forget about it. You know, the same way that y'all didn't forget about Black Lives Matters, and y'all was standing on that junk and you was protesting until you started getting that man arrested, until you got those police officers thrown under the jail and arrested. That's the same way that we're going to continue to beat this down until we get results with regard to what's happening in these blue cities. Let me give you some insight of what's going on over here in Chicago. Let's start with the money first.
Are your tax dollars being spent responsibly? Well, a Chicagoland representative says, nope, they are not. Representative Martin McLaughlin, whose district includes Cook, Kane, McHenry, and Lake counties, says he has been asked by voters why their tax bills have gone up 15 to 30% this year.
Let's stop there, y'all. Their tax bills, largely a part of, wow, the lowest alderman salary is $115,000. Wow. Y'all paying all 50 of these guys all of this money? $115,000. And guess what? The people of Chicago had already been paying crazy tax bills. I mean, when I say crazy tax bills, I'm talking about crazy tax bills, especially when it comes to their property taxes. Could you imagine getting a 30% increase in your taxes? I wonder why. Is it possible that you guys can guess why homeowners and taxpayers are getting a 30% increase in how much that they have to pay for their property taxes? Somebody came on this platform and said, Anton, inflation is not based off of what is going on personally in your life, in your county, in your city, and in your state. They tried to argue me down and said, Anton, inflation is only applicable on a federal level. I said, ain't that something? So you're telling me that the rate of inflation on a broad scale, so if the federal government says that the rate of inflation is 9% like it was during the pandemic, then that's just the way it is all across the board. So inflation does not take into consideration what the federal rate is that is then fed into it based off of the value of your dollar and then whether or not that dollar then stretches long enough or further enough or far enough, however you want to frame it. If that dollar stretches all the way over here based off of being in California, or all the way over there based off of being in Mississippi, or all the way over here based off of being in Chicago. If the cost of doing business and surviving and feeding your family and heating your house and making sure that you got a roof over your head over in Chicago is growing by a property tax rate of 30% more based off of the idea, and we don't know why they raised it. We just know that they need some more money, right? They said that they got budget holes and deficits and they continuing to spend money as far as the migrant crisis. So if you can raise property taxes from 15 to 30% just like that, even if you have your home paid off, you still got to pay these crazy property taxes. You're telling me that inflation does not affect you a little bit differently if you live in Chicago versus living over there in Florida? I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. I beg to differ. People are seeing taxes increase by over 30%. That is stupid. Stupid.
The country is experiencing skyrocketing inflation.
Our government routinely collects your hardworking tax dollars for services that are not yet rendered. I've been hearing about a rainy day fund to keep funds for use in the future.
Reading that super chat shortly. Thank you, David.
This practice is simply uncalled for when we have so much need today. It's highly unethical, and frankly, it amounts to an unbelievable fiscal malpractice.
The representative says he is pushing for a new state office of fiscal responsibility and reform. That group would help the state better budget its money and spend the money of hardworking Illinoisans more efficiently to serve residents of the state. I think they'd have.
You are insane if you think that they are working on your behalf or they have your best interest at heart as far as what they're going to do with your taxpayers. There's so much waste on a government level that they don't even care anymore. Meanwhile, churches are helping migrant families get settled, and they now are starting to get their work visas, and they are able to then replace you in some of the jobs that you have. Let me show you.
There are new numbers out today on Chicago's migrant crisis. Right now, there are more than 12,000 asylum seekers in 25 shelters across the city.
Keyword, recognize our pronouns. They are not illegal immigrants. They are asylum seekers. Recognize our pronouns. They are not illegal immigrants. They are asylum seekers. Okay, it's a difference. Recognize our pronouns. He, they, shim, jim, sherver. Asylum seeker.
And there are more than 3,000 migrants awaiting placement in a shelter.
Since the crisis began, 20,500 migrants have arrived in Chicago. And tonight, we're getting a rare look into the life of one family, settling into their new normal a year later.
CBS 2's Maribel Gonzalez introduces us to them and the pastor who's helped them navigate the process.
Shout out to the pastor.
We're called to do it.
The Grace and Peace Church in Austin is now serving as more than a place of worship.
Here's all the winter gear.
It's transformed into a resource hub for migrants arriving in Chicago.
Since August of last year, we have been in the fire of it all.
In fact, they were one of the first places that offered shelter when Texas sent them to Chicago last year. Over 100 people staying inside the church at a time.
Our goal was always get them out in 60 days. So we did 100 every 60 days.
Pastor,
I wonder what nationality Pastor John Zayas is, but we'll figure that out later.
John Zayas getting them out of here and into their own apartments, connecting them with jobs and basic necessities.
Every little thing counts, right?
When they're coming here for the first time, they have shoes, hats, clothes, coats, all that stuff.
The church
Wow, that's impressive, huh? That's impressive. We had been trying to figure out all this time, how do they have new Montclair coats, Scullies, new ripped jeans, all of the latest Air Ones and Nikes. I ain't seen no Black Forces. They had new strollers, umbrellas, tents, gloves, coats, everything. And I was thinking to myself, how? Because I was using my context clues and nobody asked the questions. So now it's starting to register and make sense. See, what the pastor is basically showing you, hey, baby girl looking frumpy in the mug on that particular shot. Anyways, that's not a good shot of her, but we're going to unpause it in a minute. Let me just continue to play this.
Has this 20,000 square foot warehouse filled with donations to give out to those in need here in the Austin community.
20,000 square foot warehouse runneth over more than ever before than before the migrant crisis, which means that the people, because there's always a silent minority or majority that is have a vested interest in seeing this happen, the people are runneth over with the donations to the organizations that ultimately help and enable what's going on in your communities. So, if the people support it, then maybe that explains why there's such a haughty attitude when it comes to not paying attention to what you saying, because they already know what the play is. More donations, more contributions, more money runneth over than ever before to the spaces and the places that ultimately support what is happening and the displacement of you in the United States of America. See, it's not that hard. Even C students can gather their context clues to figure out what's going on out here in these streets. 20,000 square foot, they have to practically turn down donations because they can't handle enough people actually being supportive of what is happening over here in this community.
But with the arrival of more migrants, their inventory has only increased.
Where they go. We're at a position right now that our donations have gone high, that we're not even accepting donations.
The box is full of items, front and center. But what you can't...
Can you imagine being a church to where you get so many donations that you're not even accepting anymore? He said that their donations runneth over so much that they're not even accepting donations anymore. That's insane. That's crazy. That's amazing to me. That is amazing to me. So this basically is telling me that it's different out here than we really think it is. What we are observing and what we're complaining about is not necessarily a reflection of what we see happening in our communities. When they become sanctuary cities, it's largely supported by the people. And the people are the ones that vote in the office, the ones that are advocating for this on a national level also. So, if that be the case, do we have it wrong? The pastor said that donations runneth over, so much so that they can't even accept anymore. Contributions, 20,000 square foot warehouse. And so it probably transitions over into a financial donation so that they can make sure that they can continue to exist anyway. So maybe we got it wrong. Maybe this is what the people of Chicago really want. Maybe we should just go ahead and let them breathe. Maybe it's just the black community that's complaining and that's why it's falling on deaf ears. I don't know.
See at first glance are the people working here. Jose Antonio and Romerci are among the first group of people
reading the super chat shortly.
In Chicago last August.
Ya tenemos un año y 2 meses.
It's been over a year since that day, but Jose Antonio still tears up thinking about their journey. running out of food in the jungle, watching people die along the way.
Es dura, muy dura.
A stark difference to their life now. They've got their work permits within a few months and are working at the church doing maintenance and paying rent on their own apartment.
They had their work permits within a few months, and now they are being employed by the church. Wow. Don't even got to learn English in order to be able to do your job. The church speaks Spanish. The church speaks Spanish. Listen, got their work permits, making money, doing the job that a lot of y'all don't want to do, and they able to pay their rent on time now. Listen. Did we not predict this? Did we not already anticipate what was going to happen? Work visas, work permits, housing, structure, help, donations, replacements. That's the key word that you want to say over there, replacements. We predicted this. You said what you wasn't going to do. They are feeling very, very comfortable, taking care of business. No hablo español. No problemo. It's rocking out.
Even though they have a full-time job, they come and give back because it was done to them.
And they're not the only ones. Pastor Zaya is helping 400 other families do the same.
We've had thousands that have come through and are now established, but we only focus on the ones that are just coming off the bus and they don't see the full picture. So
before we really got wind of it, they had already seen thousands of people and helped thousands of people, and right now they're in flight with helping over 400 people make sure that they get themselves settled over in Chicago.
That's why I think people get upset. They say, well, how long are we going to have these folks here?
To him, that full picture means people settled into a city they're eager to call home.
So they really want to be part of the fabric of America.
In Austin, Maribel Gonzalez, CBS 2 News.
Welcome to America. Welcome to America. See what you did to yourself? See how you voted yourself on out of a job? See how you voted yourself out of your own position? See what happened? Yeah. This is how it's going to play out in America. This is how it's been since the beginning of time. We need a new working class. And so this is nothing new. This is not anything that you guys need to be concerned about. Just go along with the program, and we're going to see how it works out. Go along with the program, and we're going to see how it works out. Okay? Okay, Pumpkin? All right, so let me give you a little bit more insight of what's happening out here in these streets. Let me give you a little bit more insight of what's happening out here in these streets, all right? I don't want you to feel left out. I don't want you to feel left out. I want you to make sure that you are in a great space and you are not disappointed with the results that comes along with this, all right? For the residents of Chicago that have been paying their taxes, taking care of their business, and on top of things, I want you to know what's waiting for you on the other side of things.
And a Beverly family is carjacked at gunpoint outside their home, and a bold crime caught on surveillance video last week.
CBS 2's Marissa Perlman is in Beverly with the warning right now from this family to their own community.
The feeling and the sound, I'll never forget any of it, but that it's probably going to stick around the longest.
It's this sound of Jeff Pettiford's wife, Michelle, and his daughter screaming for their lives he still hears. 2 suspects on foot run into their backyard, push Michelle to the ground, and demand her keys. A gun is pointed straight at her. Michelle still won't watch the video.
Yeah, give me the keys. I lived it. I don't need to see it. I know, like, what they did. I know that they put guns at my husband. They rushed at me with guns.
Their daughter inside calls police as Jeff tries to de-escalate, telling the suspects to take his car parked in the driveway.
That's open. You just take it to Get out! Get out!
The suspects spewing new threats with each passing second. They eventually jump into Jeff's car and drive off. The Pettifords left on the ground in their own backyard.
Courage is sort of what you do in the face of fear. And there was a lot of fear.
And I'm so grateful that we're here.
Can you imagine? This is happening. Listen. Let me tell you something, big dog. I had, over the last 48 hours, in preparing what it is that I wanted to have a conversation about on this show, before we start getting into the money, before we start getting into Richard Fain and all of that stuff, I had ample ammunition and everything at my doorstep in order to try and figure out what I wanted to present to you today as far as what's happening in Chicago. I had ample opportunity and ample ammunition, meaning that it was somebody getting carjacked over here. It was somebody getting their head cracked open over there. Multiple different shootings happening overnight. These people were over here getting robbed. Somebody was getting slapped in the face and then took their keys. Somebody was getting carjacked over here. There was no shortage of articles to select to present to you guys. No shortage at all. This is the new normal, not just within the city, but also in the suburbs and all around. They are restricting your ability to be able to protect yourself. They are distracting you with things that does not help you. They are allocating resources away from the stuff that you should have to protect yourself, and the cops, and no support for those people over in Chicago. They are not reinvesting into your infrastructure or your communities. They are at a budget deficit while also raising your taxes 15 to 30% in the Chicago areas. And this is what you get in return as a result of it. This is mismanagement. This is disrespectful. As a man, a family man myself, to know or to see, even to have evidence of audio, video, young dudes running up with the ooh-wop shebang with a gun pointed in the faces of us, with her and her daughter out there screaming and yelling, and them being so brazen as to take their time, wasn't even quick with it because they were not worried about the police officers even having a good response time to come and protect you in the first place. And the horror and the humiliation, and also the PTSD of not even wanting to go back in your own backyard because the criminals are winning. They just passed the Safety Act, so even if they catch them, it's a strong possibility that they'll just get a slap on the wrist and say, hey, make sure y'all come back and come and visit us, as though we're not dealing with some of the worst criminals in the face of the earth. And this is what you get as a hardworking, tax-paying, doing the right thing citizen of the United States of America of Chicago. This is what you got to look forward to. They are not spending your money properly. And if it wasn't for social media, then you would not even be aware of what's happening to your friends and your family and your neighbors and your other citizens of the United States of America across the board. We have an influx of people coming into this country and coming into these cities, and we don't even have adequate support for the people that have already been here. Isn't that wild to you? Does that not seem insane to you? Does that make sense to you?
We showed the terrifying video to retired Chicago Police Chief of Detectives Eugene Roy. He says each family member, especially Dad Jeff, did the right thing.
He calmed the situation down by saying, here, there's my other car. Keys are in it. Take it. Go. Fortunately, that worked. And he was able to de-escalate the situation and get his family out of harm's way.
Roy says giving up your property and not reacting in the face of danger can save a life.
Being calm is the best strategy.
And this family left with a powerful warning to their community.
It doesn't discriminate on area. It's everywhere. And so it can be you. And if we don't do something to change this, it doesn't get better. It continues to get worse.
It doesn't discriminate based off of area. That is his message. They asked, hey, what would you tell the people that's watching us right now? He said, listen, and I've been telling y'all this for a long time now. He said, listen, it don't matter where you think you from. It don't matter that you think that you far away from the hood. See, I did a video on my other channel when I said, listen, one of the reasons why I stayed in my city is because it's better for me to participate in the rebuilding, the gentrification, and the changes that I want to see in my city than trying to run away from it. Because you can't run away from the devil. Eventually, he gonna catch you. You got to face him. You thought that you running away to the suburbs was going to be the best thing for you and your family. You pay more property taxes. You thought that you was going to get better schools. That's not how it works anymore. See, the same way that you change and you evolve and you think that you're going to make the best decision for your body, for yourself and your family and your future, you don't think that the criminals is making adjustments also? You don't think that they know how to drive out to where you live at? You don't think that as you close a loophole on how it is that they can do crime over here, that they're going to make the adjustment and do it a little bit differently over there? You thought that you was going to outrun it? Let me tell you what happened with Detroit, right? I'm going to tell you what happened with our city. White flight happened in the 50s and 60s because everybody was moving up here for jobs, especially as it relates to the auto manufacturers. Jobs plentiful everywhere, right? And so because there were people moving into the inner city, white people at that time decided that they wanted to move out to the suburbs. And so all of the infrastructure around all of the communities that's surrounding Detroit, which they now call Metro Detroit, and it's even one of the richest counties, Oakland County, you can look it up, is in Michigan. Oakland County is one of the richest counties in the United States of America. Oakland County is one of the richest counties in the United States of America. So they gave the city over to all of the black people. At that time, and that demographic of people, culturally, had nothing to do with the color of your skin because there was some good people in there. Culturally, they decided that they wanted to make it their own. So they gave them everything that they want, and they gave them the keys to the city. They became the mayors, all black. City council people, all black. Jobs, government body, workers, residents. Did you know that Detroit had became, and it still is today, the literal blackest city in the United States of America? Atlanta ain't got nothing on Detroit. Houston, nada. Starting with Mayor Coleman Young, and people don't want to have this conversation, ran the city into the ground. All the way into bankruptcy. Schools destroyed. Infrastructure destroyed. Jobs destroyed. Even the sports teams moved out of the city. And when everybody moved out, you know what happened? I'm going to read that super chat shortly. You know, when everybody moved out, what happened? They gave you the keys to the city. They said, you can run it how you see fit. Corruption, theft, robbery. Everybody stole from everybody, including the politicians. They said, I'm going to get mines. And then they destroyed their communities. And they said, well, we don't want to be here anymore. I'm going to just be honest with you. They destroyed their communities. And then when I was born in the 80s, I seen the worst of it. So when I grew up admiring the New Yorks and the San Diegos and all of these good, great, bustling cities and what they were to become. And I heard about the history of Detroit and I seen Motown and all of that stuff. And I said, well, why not my city? Because I went to school downtown. I had to catch the bus every single day going down to Cass Tech. And I seen the potential of what it could be. And I always said to myself, I'm never leaving. I am going to see the evolution of the city because it's a mindset of people that's different than who came in here, the people of yesteryear, the boomers and all of those dudes, and they messed up the city. They stole from it. They stole from their own children. They stole from everybody, right? And so then the criminal element started to spill out everywhere else. People from Detroit that was down here tearing up, they moved to other cities. You see a lot of people that's then traveling. They moved down to Atlanta. They moved over to Arizona. Some of them moved over to Florida, Texas, New York, all of that stuff, right? And when the city started to become more hollow because it was a city that was built for 2 million people and the population had got down to under 700,000, all of the good people and the white people and everybody that actually seen the value in the city moved back in. This is a fact, though. They moved back in. And then the black people complained and they said, we don't want you coming in our city gentrifying it because you moving all of the people out that's already been here. And they forgot the last part, tearing it up. So now we've priced you out. You can't come into certain parts of the city unless you're willing to make some concessions. And when you come to Midtown and Corktown and downtown and Mexican Town and where I got my office, where I just got my new residence at, right there on the riverfront, right? All of these teams moved back into the city. You got the Pistons, the Red Wings, the Detroit Lions, the Tigers. They're all literally within a mile of each other. Greektown is awesome. Campus Marshall's Park is popping. Police everywhere. Crime is 100% down. Everything is changing. Streets is repaved. Schools is open. New skyscrapers coming in. Dan Gilbert came in and moved all of his employees downtown, right? The Illich family of companies. Tom Gore's and his companies. Everything changed. Rebuilt the Riverwalk. Got the most beautiful Riverwalk in the entire country. The most beautiful Riverwalk in the entire country. And we want to protect it now. Now, we're not willing to let anybody come in and mess up what we got going on. You can visit, but you take your monkey A home. You can visit, but you need to go home. Go home. You can't stay here. We pricing you out. You can't stay here. If any crime pop off, everything shut down. Everything shut down in the city. If anything happened within downtown area or the areas that's starting to gentrify, and now you got to spread out. You're going to have to catch the wave where you can get it. Sherrill Forest is back popping. Avenue of Fashion over there at Livernois is popping. Boston Edison District was popping. Everything is back popping now. Neighborhoods changing. Everything is changing. And now they're complaining. If you want change, be the change that you want to see in your city. But stop waiting on everybody else to come in and do something for you. It's not happening. It's not happening. Stop waiting for people to come in and fix your communities. You know who the killers are. You know who the carjackers are. You know who the dope boys are. You know who the people that's flooding your streets with the fentanyl is. You know this. Make the adjustment. Stop making excuses. Stop running in the Victim Olympics. Stop parking on your lawns and your grass because you can no longer run away from your problems now because the criminal element has now spilled into your community, similar to what's happening over in Chicago. They got the new food hall on 6 Mile. I went over there and visited, and I also recorded over there. Go and check it out on my other channel. The same way that I documented the decline of Detroit over the last few years, I also been highlighting the ascendance of Detroit over the last few years also. Now you are forced to face and reckon with the criminals because they're everywhere. They're in your communities. They in the suburbs. They in the cities. They're everywhere. Now you got to face it. Now you so uncomfortable where you can't run away from it. Ain't no running out away from the communities anymore. It's a part of the fabric of whatever it is that you are. Drugs, it's all across the board. Dope, fentanyl, heroin, everything, opioid crisis, it's hit every single doorstep in the United States of America. It's not just in the urban communities anymore. It's just a fact. So you can run and you can try to go to a different city, but they don't even want you. And they look at you in the same way that they look at you as a foreigner, even when it comes to how you're moving over into different cities outside of the United States of America. Listen, Texans don't want you. And I don't have no problem with it. I'm going to go over to the next story in a second. But let me tell you something. People in Texas that's native to Texas, they said Texas is full. They don't want you there. They don't want you coming over into their communities, bringing your same voting habits and your same ways with you. And they're not just talking about Californians. They don't want you from New York. They don't want you from Florida. They don't want you from Chicago. They don't want you there. You are not welcome in their communities, and I don't blame them because fix the communities that you came from. Don't come over and start messing up what it is that they got going on. That's their communities. Let them have it. They don't want you. Y'all ran down to Atlanta and tore that up. Ran over in Florida and tore that up. Stay in your own communities and vote the way that you're supposed to vote and start to take care of business and fix your own communities. Participate. Understand who the leadership is in your communities and start to leverage what that relationship is and hold them accountable for what it is that they're doing. They don't want you. They don't want you in their communities, and I don't blame them. Stay where you at and fix where you came from and stop selling your mama's house for pennies on a dollar and then go back and saying something is wrong with everybody else. They don't want you there. And I'm cool with it. Let me read some of the super chats and then we're going to get really going with the show. Shout out to everybody that's supporting the platform. David Williams says, I'm surprised you haven't covered Eric Adams being investigated by the FBI. I'm waiting on more information to come. You got to give me some time. You got to give me some time, big dog. It's coming. I want to make sure I got the facts. Anton don't like to speak off of speculation. I got to speak to the facts. Thank you for the fireball. David Simpson says, coming to a city, town, county near you. It's coming. Freight Train Shane Wright says, what's up, town? I'm fighting for the PFC AM lightweight title on December 2nd in Arkansas. To the bag chasers, I'm the one to bet on. Salute, big dog. Hold on. Let me take a picture of that one. My dog, Freight Train Shane Wright, over in Arkansas. Listen, I talked to Freight Train on the Anton Daniels channel a few weeks ago. He said he the one to bet on. We might have to take a trip over to Arkansas. I haven't even been to Arkansas. What's happening what's the weather like over in Arkansas? Somebody put that on my calendar. Let me see what's happening over in Arkansas. Easy Money is in the building. Says one thing is true and two things are certain. How do we prosper off of this hustle? We going to get there. We about to get to the money shortly. Let me go into one other article and then we're going to get to the money. Danistar says, great job holding last night dude accountable for the 14 years of suffering he put that woman through while trying to make her have his baby. Don't stop. Don't stop. Get it. Don't stop. Get it. Quick Octane says, yeah, time to move to Montana. Nope. Don't move to Montana. They don't want you there, Quick Octane. You are not welcome over in Montana. Shout out to Hot Candy. She said, game over. Game over. Shout out to Hot Candy. I appreciate you for continuing to hold me down. I appreciate you for the 20 ball or for the 2 ball. Tony Williams, my dog, says this is how NBA player Quentin Richardson's dad was murdered in his garage in front of Quentin's same neighborhood of Beverly, Alderman Loading. We're going to continue to have this uncomfortable conversation because the people don't want to have this conversation. They don't want to talk about it. Anastasio Rodriguez says, making me want to move to Detroit. No, we good over here, big dog. We good. I love my only bag chasers invited to come and see me. Enforcer 2K9 says, black folks always waiting for something, waiting for Jesus, waiting for reparations, waiting for community leaders, waiting for solutions. Just not waiting on trying to change ourselves. Don't worry about it. Speaking of waiting, and thank y'all for the super chats. I'm going to continue to read those throughout the show. Speaking of waiting, why is this so off? Give me a second. Let me see something. Let me remove that. Speaking of waiting, Tiff. Tiff is in the building. Tiff says, listen, Anton, I know you did an article on me yesterday, and we was out here. Remember when I showed you that video yesterday on her Facebook? She said, yo, pull up. We out here giving cheese and bread out to the people. Shout out to Q-Bert Rame. I appreciate you. I'm going to be reading that super chat shortly. She said, pull up. We out here giving the turkeys to the children and the people. And I told y'all what the play was and the finesse. And I said, listen, usually when people start doing stuff like that, when the dope dealers start giving the turkeys away, I mean, the dope is in the basement. When the dope dealers start giving turkeys away, that means the dope is in the basement. Go and check the basement. Check the basement, baby girl. The D is in the basement. She said, pull up. Let me show you what we really doing for our community. The community is up from here. I said, all right, Tiff. What the news? Okay, hold on. Let me see something. What the news? The news said that they got other things that they need to bring to the front of the congregation, and it ain't no turkey drive. They said it ain't no turkey drive. That ain't what they want to talk about. They want to talk about something completely different. They say the expenses and the bills is being misappropriated over there in Dolton. Can somebody substantiate that for me? Has anybody got anything to say about that? Don't worry about it. We're going to get to it. Make sure that you guys hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notifications.
WGN investigates a small south suburb with big bills and leaders with expensive taste. Last night, we showed you how some residents and elected officials claim the local mayor retaliates against people who don't support her.
Well, tonight we look at a spending spree that's also causing questions and concern. Here again, investigative reporter Ben Bradley.
40 minutes south of Chicago, you'll find Dolton, Illinois. The median income is $24,000 a year, and yet the mayor collects more than 10 times that amount from various elected positions. And as we found, a paycheck isn't the only perk.
Wait. Hey, Dolton, holla at me a little bit real quick. You said that the median average salary in Dolton is $24,000 a year? I just want to make sure that we got our numbers right before we start to have this conversation. The median income in Dolton is $24,000 a year, and she make over $250,000, right? Or am I wrong? $24,000 a year. Just want to make sure that we all in the same, because we're going to have this conversation about Richard Fain shortly. $24K. Okay? All right.
In South Suburban Dolton, the economic challenges run deep.
We still have areas that need trees cut, streets paved, alleys paved, sidewalks fixed. It's a lot of that going on.
And a lot that's being spent, not on critical repairs, but on travel, meals, and more by many top village officials.
It's an issue. It's been an issue for some time.
We just look up and we're paying for stuff. And it just makes no sense. She's just doing what she wants to do.
None of them do the things that we do here. We the only ones making sure y'all streets get paid, find ways to fix what is broken.
She is Mayor Tiffany Henyard.
But then they running y'all, tell y'all this little fictitious story.
Would you like to just do an interview with me?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, let's go. I mean,
In addition to leading Dolton, she also serves as supervisor of Thornton Township.
You make almost $300,000 between your two elected positions.
I do not. I don't know where you got that number from.
We got it from her own village and township records.
Oh, snap. See, I show my W-2s also. on the Patreon. If you're not a bag chaser, link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. They say that she made the equivalent of $287,000 a year from two different positions. So one position she made $225,000. The second position she made $62,000. And that's the equivalent of $287,000. Wow. Hey, why they doing this like this is not public record? Like this is not something that you could just look up and have a conversation about. This is public record that if you are a paid employee of a city, apparently, and I didn't know this because I didn't really care. I'm not the type of person that do this type of conversations. But since we're bringing public officials to the front of the congregation, how you gonna say no, you got that all wrong? I don't know where you getting that number from. And then they switch over and they swap it out and they say, see, 287 bands. Come on, man. You saying there's more to this? All right, let me continue to play it.
These are tax dollars.
So is the money being spent on village credit cards. WGN Investigates obtained copies of statements that reveal village officials have spent more than $24,000 at restaurants in just 1 year, including this Midlothian barbecue joint and a South Holland sub shop.
I've seen the same thing and more. You name it, they've done it.
Other questionable expenses include the streaming service Hulu, flights to Texas, Alabama, and Missouri, and hotel rooms in nearby suburbs, including Madison and Elk Grove Village, plus thousands of dollars spent at a hotel in downstate Pontiac.
All right, so let me give you all the play. A lot of people may not be familiar with this. So let's say you make $287,212,000 a year, according to the records that was pulled by this news station. Let's say that you do that. But you don't have to spend the majority of that the same way that everybody else does, because you get to spend taxpayer dollars feeding yourself, traveling, hotel rooms. You could even put it on a city credit card to get you some Hulu. Hulu does sports. Look, man, look. Look. I know a mayor or two that actually went to jail personally. As a matter of fact, let me see something. Let me call my dog, because I need some expert advice.
What? They done found it.
What up, Kwame?
What you just getting off the private jet?
Hey, hold on, wait. I'm on a live stream right now, all right? So I heard you was out there causing a fuss when you was talking about Trump and Obama.
I was, brother. Yeah. I said I wanted to see how sensitive everybody still is.
Hey, where you at? When you coming back to the city? Well, don't say that. Don't say that, because I'm on a live stream. We'll talk about it after I get off the live stream.
I'm in here.
You in the city right now?
Yes, sir.
How long you gonna be here?
I'll be here to Monday.
I bet we gonna have to link up.
Let's do it.
I got a question for you. Have you heard of this mayor over in Dolton? It's like a city outside. Do you know where Dolton is? It's like a city outside of Chicago.
In Alabama?
No, it's outside of Chicago.
No.
Okay, so it's this lady over in Chicago. Her name is like Tiffany Henyard or something.
Yeah.
And I guess she's like really, really hitting the news. And I guess it's as a result of something like they using like the city's cards for like Hulu and all of that stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry, I laughed. Okay, go ahead.
Like, is it a way that they can justify that as a expense for the city?
What you mean? They use Hulu? Like, I don't understand.
So I guess they pulled the records for the Freedom of Information Act to find out exactly where they spending the money, like the city credit cards and stuff. And they reporting that they spent it on Hulu and all that type of stuff.
I would have to have a little bit more information to answer it seriously, because probably some of those things are amplified, but what they spent the money on was a network service. And in that network service, it provided Hulu and Netflix along with Newsmax, CNN.
Okay.
So I just would like to hear the whole story, because, of course, the sensational thing is that they had Hulu. Well, in the newsroom.
Well, they said that she also spent it on different hotels room. They fly back and forth to Texas and all. Of course, they got a whole lot of stuff, right? But I was just wondering, how can they justify certain things like that, like a streaming service and something?
Some things you can't justify. Some things you can, and they're sensationalized. So I would have to look at it from that perspective. I was in the news for my first 2 years on my credit card. But then the investigation turned up nothing, but it was on the front page for almost a year. And so if he was in New York eating lobster, and they had lobster. And so when we take the bond rating agency people and show them to do this and do that, and we wine and dine them, and then we get the bond rating and the bond done for $800 million 6 months later, that's not in there. So but what's in there is I had lobster. So it's I don't know. Some of these things are the trips or where you take. It's impossible. Now, this is a smaller city, so I don't know what her mission is. But if I'm flying out recruiting Dan Gilbert, I'm flying into Cleveland, I'm chasing him around too on the spur of the moment. He said, "You come to the game tonight, get on the plane and fly to Cleveland." Or I'm going in and out of New York, or I'm going to try to chase down Home Depot, or we got to get out to Vegas right now to meet with MGM. If those things are producing what you see now, the headquarters coming, they're not, if they're after you, particularly if you're an African-American mayor, you don't get a chance to explain that in the moment. They put it on the front page and then you're chasing the story. So I don't know if she's misspending. I would need more information, or if there's a legitimate reason to have those type of expenditures, because there might be. Now, if you just watching Netflix and watching Hulu, no. But if that's, I mean, literally, hell no. But if that's a part of a larger package for the newsroom and those things are on there, and I don't know what I would need to have more information to see if you can justify something like that. Because, you got to be very careful. At 31 years old, I came in there. That's why the first 3 years was so hard. And the last was I was rarely in the news until I was in the news all the time because all the stuff. Because you learn from making those kind of mistakes, and you learn from checking in. I saw DJ Khaled said, "I'm over every expenditure." I saw that. He said, "Listen, I don't have no finance. I'm over whoever paid the loan, man." And once I did that in the city, I didn't have no more problems. But when I was just signing stuff because the finance people do it, it was bad, because I don't even know what these people are buying. I have no idea. You think you coming in, you just signing this. So then, no. If I'm going to be on the front page, show me everything. What's that right there? So then once we got that and you get people you trust in place, it's a little different. So I would have to see what this mayor is dealing with. And yes, there are two things that could be true. One, it could be crazy as hell. And the other thing, that it could be a justification for it. But she's going to have to get a team of people together and provide that. The only way I got out of the news is I provided that. They didn't redress the stories, but they did stop writing about it. So that's the thing, that's the other thing she's going to have. They'll just go away if she can legitimize it.
Does she possibly face more scrutiny because it is a smaller city?
Absolutely. Because your budget has to justify that now. Remember, what we had to do was show that we spent less money than Young and Archer.
Yeah, that's true.
The only way to do it. Remember all that? I had to show that I spent less than Archer on the credit card. And I hated putting it out there like that, but they were trying to make this about me and this kind of and paint me in a certain way, and it started going away after that. But that's because this is a city with a 1 point something $billion budget. When you're talking about, this town, and I've never heard of the town, it's probably got a very small budget, and it probably has a city manager that's under the mayor.
Well, she has multiple different positions where she's getting paid. So she's the mayor. She's the she holds multiple positions. She didn't fill them. She just said that she gonna take over multiple roles within the city.
And the other thing, Anton, is it probably been that way forever, but she got in a position. And that's what you got to learn too. Like the last mayor for 30 years, that guy, he was to this, he was to that, he got this, and she went in thinking you could do that, and that's not how that works. Yeah, can't nobody come in and be Mike Duggan after Mike Duggan.
Right.
He has ability and agility. Good job.
Yeah.
So don't go in there trying to do what he did. You got to go look at what is ethically right, what's legally right, and start doing like that, because you can get indicted. He'll just get a bad article. So that's the difference in the weight of whatever problems or indiscretions you might have. They're different for everybody. And if this is a black woman in that kind of position, she's going to stay on the front page.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. So, okay. Yeah, we'll talk about it. We're going to kick it this weekend.
Yeah, let me know, man. I come down there, man. I've been looking for you. I got some stuff I want to get up to talk to you about. There's going on.
All right, I'm gonna call you this evening, and we're going to set it up.
All right, Anton.
All right, bye.
In a minute, brother.
So that was my good friend, Kwame Kilpatrick. Shout out to Kwame. Kwame gave me some insight on how things are supposed to go within the city budget, especially when you're in a smaller city. And so I'm not an expert on politics. And so when I need some insight, or I'm trying to gain or glean some information on how things are supposed to go versus how things are being presented, I'll call my homies, or I'll call a city council member, or I'll reach out to somebody that I have in city government as a part of what's going on in the fabric of the city. And then I'll start to get some insight, because they have a view of it that very few people, they've actually done the position. They've actually had the conversations. So I'll call them. Hey, Kwame, what's up, big dog? Anton, man. And we got a really good relationship. That's my guy. I love him. He's in a great space. And so I always got to make sure that my dog Kwame is taken care of. Always got to make sure he's taken care of. Let me see something. Yeah, right. Anyways, so let's continue.
My take is this. If they are going to something that's going to benefit the village, that's fine. But from my standpoint of view, these things don't benefit the village at all.
And then there are the trips to Las Vegas. Mayor Henyard and other top officials traveled to Sin City in May to attend a shopping center conference. It's unclear if it helped Dolton land any deals.
Don't have a clue. We're all in the dark. Not only are the residents in the dark, but the trustees are also in the dark as well.
I do not handle anything as relates to with credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
Hold on, fam. Hold on. You gotta be kidding me. No way, no how. You have got to be kidding me. This is not happening in real time. No way did this just happen in an interview. Good God Almighty, what in the world is happening in Carmen Sandiego? This is the most hood administration that I've ever seen in my entire life. No way No, she did not just do this. What is going on out here in these streets? Bitcoin said, no, call Kwame back. Oh, he said, you ain't go to Vegas? She said, looking like my little brother when he was stealing cereal off the top of the refrigerator. Oh my God. I gotta see that one more time for the people in the streets. Oh no, she did not.
Thing as relates to it.
Hey, and she said, sure, I got you. I got you.
Credit cards. As you heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas?
Somebody get the federal authorities on the phone so we can see what's going on in these streets. Oh, I'm about to make a meme of this. Oh, God, that is the funniest thing that I've seen all week. Shout out to Tiffany Henyard.
You heard me speak today in my board meeting about, I do not handle that.
Some of those charges are for you, though.
No, sir.
You didn't go to Las Vegas? What is that?
No comment.
You don't know if you were in Las Vegas?
Of course I do.
Were you?
It's not paid by them.
Jesus. I can't believe y'all be voting these people in. I can't believe that y'all telling me that she was out there to go and see Usher. She went out there to go see Usher. Oh my God. I am literally going to clip this chick up and use her as a meme for the rest of my videos. Good God.
Did you fly first class to Las Vegas?
Any other questions?
Oh, no. Oh, no. Tiffany, Tiff. God, I cannot believe that they caught this chick up and she flew first class to Vegas on a taxpayer dime. Oh, that is crazy. Golly. Jesus.
Actually, yes. The credit card records do shed some light on tax dollars spent at several restaurants near the Strip, including Cafe Hollywood and Hot and Juicy Crawfish.
All right. Any other questions?
So you're not going to answer how taxpayer dollars are being spent? That seems odd.
I just answered it. What do you mean? I just answered your questions.
You said you wouldn't answer about Las Vegas.
You asked me a question and I responded. So any other questions you may have?
They may have signed up for a conference, but they never bring anything back. So we have no idea why they go to these trips.
Remember, we mentioned Henyard was also supervisor at Thornton Township. WGN Investigates obtained copies of that agency's credit card statements as well. They show township taxpayers also spent money on the Vegas trip on everything from steak dinners to hotels and $3,741 just on Henyard's round-trip flight.
Wait. They spent $3,700 for that ain't even what a first class flight costs to Vegas. What the hell are we talking about? $8,500 on a hotel. She must have been standing at the top of the Aria. Real talk. Top of the Aria or the Venetian, the Wynn. She had to be at the Bellagio. She had to have a suite. Real talk. I know I am a Vegas resident practically. I know what. Yo, she out here spending money like she getting YouTube checks out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? This is crazy. And then to say, oh, I went out here for a conference for a small city like Dolton, you asking to be indicted, man. Asking to be indicted.
$1,741 just on Henyard's round-trip flight.
But I shouldn't have to sit up here and break all this down.
When trustees refused to pay a big block of bills this week, the mayor accused them of putting vital city services in jeopardy.
We need receipts to understand what's going on.
We couldn't help but notice the red hat perched in front of Mayor Henyard throughout the meeting.
Not the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company hat straight from Vegas. Not the Bubba Gump Shrimp hat that you got straight from Vegas sitting right there at the recording meeting. Oh my God. What in the Jesus name is happening here out here in these streets?
It's from the Bubba Gump Shrimp Company, which, by the way, was apparently a stop on the Vegas trip. $303 billed to Thornton Township taxpayers.
We just feel lost, and we just want the powers that be to step in and say, hey, you know, something's got to give.
Is there anybody else? I just want to be clear. Anybody else after that? Is that it? That's it?
We sought specifics from Dolton and Thornton Township about these credit card charges, expenses, and how they benefited taxpayers, but received no clarity. Mayor Henyard invited us to come back to Dolton and the township to showcase upcoming turkey giveaways, senior programs, and plans for an ice rink.
This is crazy. I just cannot believe what I'm seeing and witnessing right now. If this is the best that we got, if these are the people that are running the city and we talking about turkey giveaways and ice rinks, oh man, I'm getting my dog Kwame out here ASAP. Kwame, we got to have a conversation, big dog. Let me read some of these super chats and then we're going to go over into the money. I want to get to this Richard Fain thing. Gosh, I cannot believe that she fumbled like that. That is insane. Qbert Rame is in the building, says, I'm about to put 500 on Freight Train. Good luck, King. Shout out to the people. Shout out to Freight Train. I appreciate you, big dog. Thank you, Qbert. Greg Charlie says, there's a liquor store near Mack and Buick that I was not allowed to go to when I was a kid. Now I see people pull it up in Benzes and Ranges. Shout out to Greg Charlie in the building. McGregor says, on the migrant church thing, I think one of the missed points is how the church is picking up government slack similar to the civil rights movement. Then, that's a good point. That's something that I think that we need to mine out. Prince Amir is in the building, says, she busting it down like the web developers, 2 jobs at once, remote work. The new finesse is public office, or is that the old finesse? That's the finesse that's been going on for years. But let me tell you something. The government don't play when it comes to the public's money. They already gonna hold you accountable if you're doing something that ain't right on your own accord. But when you spending the government money, when you spending the taxpayers' money, they will nail you to the wall. My girl Natasha says, mayor commentary from the former mayor. Of course, Natasha says CNN, Fox, Disney, AJ Plus, let's go. You getting real journalists. Listen, we do the real work over here. They don't believe that I know who I know when I know it and I could just pick up the phone and make a phone call. But Tasha, let me tell you, baby girl, my name is Corey is in the building with the 20 ball. Says, I don't want to hear nothing about black women being most oppressed and unprotected when you got the mayor Tiffany and more like her running it up seemingly unchecked until Anton from AntonDaniels.com decided to come into the building. Martin Meck says, she did the Dave Chappelle GWB Jr. oil run. Let me be quiet. George W. Bush oil. Mr. Lott is in the building. My dog says Like KS used to say, you catch them up in a lie and they start to malfunction. That's a fact. Let me hit you with a double bit one on that one. David Simpson Jr. says, you didn't go to Vegas? Mayor, Elliot Jackson says, low-key looked like Lil Wayne went to perform at a show. Except for got all that makeup on. You know how they do it. Trey Gaines in the building says, love listening to your commentary and your financial advice. My financial mindset has changed since listening to you. Keep up the work because of your value. It is much needed in the black community. Shout out to Trey Gaines in the building. I appreciate you. Knobs is out here. Says Anton, put the Yoda hat on and tell her, jail, Tiffany, avoid jail. Avoid jail, you will not. Avoid jail, you will not. Shout out to Tiff in the building. I got to get some Tiff. I bet you she fun to hang out with. I ain't even gonna cap. I bet you she fun to hang out with. Ash says the mayor needs better coaching. No comments? That is not going to work. Call the FBI. The better answer is I cannot confirm nor deny these allegations without first reviewing the official reports. That is a fact. Ash, you should be a consultant to Tiffany. Ken J says it will be very, very long time for this city to recover from this woman. Doesn't she know she's going to? Well, we can't put that on nobody. We wouldn't put that on our worst enemy. We don't know. Maybe we just want restitution for the city of Dolton. Woke Walking says, what about the brother that she hired that seems to be her boo? That has a assault conviction. That's an inspector. Doesn't he have to register as an offender? Isn't he in people's homes? I don't know. We don't know what we don't. I'll ask the mayor, former mayor of Detroit this weekend. How about that? I will ask the former mayor of Detroit this weekend, and then we're going to have a conversation. Fair enough, guys? Fair enough? All right, so let's get to my guy. Oh, God. What is up with the... Okay, so we're going to make some adjustments here. Hold on. Give me a second. Because I want to make sure I want to put some respect on his name. Put some respect on Rich's name. Richard Figgity Fain. Now, let me give you a little bit of background information before we dump into this whole article thing, right? So Richard Fain, for those of you that are not familiar, I'm guessing that the majority of you are, is a content creator / investor / former NFL player / finance resource / person that talks about money, making money, and what you should do with your money on YouTube, right? And I had done a couple of different live streams where I also included Richard Fain in a couple of my commentary. One of them specifically was about his investment fund that he was putting together in the wake of what happened with Jay Morrison. And I was basically saying that, that's probably not a good idea. You don't want to do that, right? And then I also came to Richard Fain's defense on some other issues, a couple different things here and there about his commentary, about what he stood on and what all of that other type of stuff, right? So nothing major, just a couple of little commentaries based off of what people are talking about financially across the board, right? And then I've recently done last week a commentary about Earn Your Leisure and an article that they did with CNBC about what real wealth look like. And so on CNBC, or an article that was released, they said that wealth, not riches, not a healthy lifestyle, wealth based off of the people that they source information from and all of the people that they interview, including the Cathys and all of that. I mean, hold on, it's my daughter. Leslie, Daddy is on a live stream. What's going up, baby? What's up, baby? I'm on a live stream. What's up, babe? You need something? Yeah, I was going to ask if I could get this stuff, but I can't. It's okay. What do you want to get, Leslie?
Okay, well, first off, there's this hoodie right here. Right? It's okay. And we can work something out. We can work out a payment and everything. This hoodie right here.
What kind of payment? How you going to pay me, Leslie?
I don't know. I can get some work done or something. I don't know. And then these pants.
How much is all of this coming up to, baby?
Total probably be about 5.5.
5.5 what?
Million. No, I'm just kidding. 100 only. 100.
So you need basically about $600 for a hoodie and some pants, Leslie?
Wait, should I get this one instead? Hold on, I don't know. Yeah.
How much do you need, Leslie?
Yeah, about 5, 6.
That's fine, babe.
Thank you, Dad. I love you.
Love you too. Bye.
Bye.
So apparently Leslie had a half a day and she decided that she wanted to go out shopping today. So Leslie is balling on a budget. But you know what? I'm glad that happened. I'm glad that happened because it literally speaks to, let me put on something more professional when I'm talking about Richard Fain. It speaks to what I'm communicating or what EYL was communicating when they were talking about what wealth is. Now, they spoke about 10 million being a number, and then they added context. I reacted to it, and then Richard Fain reacted to what we said, what I said, and then what EYL said. So let me share with you guys exactly what's been communicated, and then we're going to go from there. Make sure you hit a like for the algorithm, subscribe to the channel, and turn on your notifications. Let's get it popping. This is Richard Fain speaking about $10 million and giving his opinion, and then speaking to what our take and our perspective was also. Let me preface this conversation by saying this also. I believe that Richard Fain is a good guy. I have no smoke, no beef with anybody, let alone a Richard Fain. The reason why I feel compelled to have this conversation is that A, he did mention the fact that he was watching a show and he wanted to give his commentary on it. So I think that is good. And then B, I think it's always good to have different opinions when it comes to finances and resources from people that are actually living it, participating in it, and also giving advice on YouTube. I think that is great. I think that it's also great that we have differences of opinions. So this is not the traditional beef that y'all see happening across YouTube. These are YouTubers, including me, myself, Richard Fain, EYL, Ian Dunlap, Master Investor, Rashad, them boys over there at EYL. This is us having differences of opinion, and then hopefully it breeds a fruitful conversation where you guys can then take the information and then use it how you will. We all carry different ways in which we communicate, and we all have a different philosophy, mostly on what it takes in order to become successful or what we think success is, right? So I want y'all to understand that this is not tearing down anybody. I want Richard Fain to be successful. I want EYL to be successful. I want everybody to be great. This is just differences of opinion, and I think that it fosters great conversation, especially the type of conversations that we need to be having in the culture. We spend so much time talking about stuff that don't matter. Okay, let's talk about something. Let's debate about something that actually is relevant. So I just want to say shout out to Richard Fain. I have no smoke for you whatsoever. I think that you do a great job at what you do. You've done a phenomenal job continuing to build up your platform. Shout out to you, but let's have an uncomfortable conversation. That's all I'm saying.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If you're stopping by the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing to my channel. And while you're at it, smash that like button for me. I really would appreciate it.
Okay, we're going to skip past all of the advertisements and we're going to go over to the stuff that actually matters. All right.
I'm also going to send you a Weeble tutorial. Send me a DM on Instagram at RichardFain28. Let me know you've opened your Weeble account. Let me know you. And I'm going to go ahead and send you that free Start Building Wealth today. Is what some popular YouTube channels are saying that you need in order to get to financial freedom. And I'm gonna give you guys my opinion on that today. Now, I'm not here to bash any person or any YouTube channel. In this country, we have freedom of speech, and everybody has a right to their own opinion. My opinion is gonna be slightly different. So I'm not trying to throw shade. I'm not talking about anybody else. I'm just telling you what I saw And here's my reaction to it, because you guys know on this channel, that's what I talk about, is building wealth. And I just don't want there to be any myths out there that discourage people in their effort to build wealth. And that's what I'm here to do today, is to give you my opinion on the topic of building wealth and how much money does it really take. So let's dive into it. So I'm sitting back watching a little bit of YouTube like I typically do, and I run across a show called The Millionaire Morning Show. Brother seems like he has a pretty good show. He covers a variety of topics.
No, let's be clear. I have the best show on YouTube, bar none. No. I just want to be absolutely, positively clear. There is nobody that is doing a better live stream in real time that is interacting with the people than Anton from AntonDaniels.com. That's a fact, though. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description as well as pinned to the top of the chat. There is nobody putting on a better show than me, but let's continue.
And one of those topics he covers is, finances from time to time. And he was talking about another YouTube channel called Earn Your Leisure. And again, these guys on Earn Your Leisure, I did a little research on them. They talk about a variety of things on there.
We're going to speed it up a little bit.
I guess it's a podcast, and then they kind of put it on YouTube, just like many others do. But they had a gentleman on their podcast, this Earn Your Leisure podcast, had a gentleman on there who says that $10 million is the bar that's been set for financial freedom. And I'm saying to myself, whoa, that's a pretty high bar, given the fact that in America, there ain't many people who have $10 million. It's like 1% of the population that have $10 million. So 99% of the population will never get to financial freedom if that's the bar that's been set. So I'm thinking to myself, well, where did he get this information from? And I started doing a little digging myself, and me, I'm a statistics guy. I'm not one of these guys that will sit here and try to plaster everything all over the screen and all that kind of stuff. Y'all know that's too much work for me. I like to go out, do my little research, and then I like to come back and just give it to y'all raw, right? Y'all can go out and do the research. It's not my job to spoon feed you. It's your job to get out there and do some fact checking on your own and make sure this stuff is right. Freedom, guys, is about you. Freedom is about lifestyle. And that's going to be different for every one of us, right? I don't have $10 million, but I'm free. I get to do whatever I want to do every single day I wake up, guys. That's freedom.
Let me tell you where Richard Fain is wrong. Here's why. We aren't talking about financial freedom. The question is wealth. Because there's a difference between financial freedom. There's a difference between being comfortable. There's a difference between what wealth is, what being wealthy is. And the bar is being able to do what you want to do, when you want to do. But here's the caveat. My daughter likes to call me and say, Daddy, I got this $600-700 outfit. Can I have it? And she already knows that she's a daddy's girl and I got a soft spot for her in my heart. And she's doing really, really well in life. And she's been taking care of business and cleaning up her room and taking care of everything. And she's about to be 16. So she got a birthday coming up. So she got some big gifts coming. And so I decide that say yes. My bar for financial freedom and being wealthy is much different than somebody else's bar. So what I push people to do is to be wealthy, understanding that it's a possibility that you may not get to that 10, 20 million number, but it's a possibility that you might. And even if you don't, it's a stronger possibility that you're not going to fall into the same category as the 99% of people on this earth. Because let me tell you, the overwhelming majority of people don't have the ability to be able to get $1,000 in an emergency. Most people don't have enough money in order to retire, and they work for the rest of their life. So my point is this. Because I don't want to just live off of $100,000 a year. My goal is to live off of $100,000 a month for the rest of my life passively. Let me say it again. because I don't want to be regular like everybody else. My flights, when I went over to Japan in the summer, my flight cost me $30,000. I took me, my wife, my child, and I want them to experience life differently. I don't want to finance a car. I don't want to have house payments. I don't want to have to go to the bank in order to be able to finance a house and then flip it and then get hard money loans and anything like that. We fund everything 100% out of our own pocket. We are self-sufficient. And so the goal, as far as becoming financially free, to be able to never have to worry about money ever again, came when I was 37 years old, when I retired in 2019 from corporate America. I readjusted my goals and I said, I don't just want to have enough money to be able to send my daughter to college and then be able to live the rest of my life how I want to, or live the rest of my life without running out of money. I want to live my life like the top 1% of the 1%. And so the bar for being wealthy then was reset based off of what I realized that I truly could achieve. Now, if I can do it as a C student, and then I see this young guy over here that's 23 years old, and he can take my exact same blueprint and do it much faster than I did it, and he can do it before he's 37 years old, then why wouldn't I have that conversation and say that this is what wealth is supposed to be? Why are we then lowering ourselves to what the rest of society does instead of being a select group? Listen, I'm not talking to everybody. I am talking to a group of people that is trying to do extraordinary things, and I'm giving them my life circumstances and then what my expectations are in order to do so. I'm not trying to speak to the 99%. I am speaking to my tribe. And if I can get you to 2 million because you were shooting for 10, then I have a much better chance at you being successful than you shooting for 2 and hitting 100. Richard Fain is a good guy, and he gives relatively good information based off of what I see. But just like Dave Ramsey, there are levels. There are levels to this. And so when you get past a certain level, let me tell you something. Dave Ramsey and the way that he manages his portfolio is much different than how you manage your portfolio as a person that got the majority of your wealth tied up in your house. I don't want to be a $10,000 a month guy passively. I am building an empire to where I want to be a $100,000 a month empire passively. It's a difference. And so when you're talking about being financially free, you're talking about the thing that makes you comfortable. And congratulations, I have no problem with that. When I'm having a conversation about what my expectations are and what I push my people towards, is being able to change the trajectory of your lineage. He's speaking about his circumstances and what makes him happy. I'm speaking about what you need in order to have generational wealth. And we not having the same conversations, Rich. We not having the same conversations, Rich. I'm not trying to get you to finance a home. I'm trying to get you to the point to where you can actually build the home and then leverage that in order to continue to make more money. I'm having a conversation based off of how you can get to the point to where you don't have to depend on your lifestyle in order to support you, or depend on your passive income in order to support you. That rich people that are wealthy, they're not having a conversation about passive income. They're having a conversation about how they can reduce their tax burden. It's a difference. People that get to a certain, listen, if you ever get to 7-8 figures comfortably, your biggest concern is not even going to be the number. You're not even having a conversation about what your net worth is at that point. Let me say it again. When you get to a certain level financially, you stop counting. The numbers is for everybody else. It's just a process at that point. And your goal is to try to reduce the amount of money that you're paying in taxes in order to pass it over to the next generation and then teach them the lessons instead of having them fumble the bag. I had a conversation with my daughter last night. And you won't believe it.
Hello?
Hey, Leslie, I'm on a live stream. I got a question for you really quickly.
Yes.
Remember when you was talking to me about what kind of car you want and stuff like that?
Yeah.
And then remember when you was talking about a job?
Yeah.
And you said that you wanted to get a job eventually?
Yeah.
What did I tell you?
You said I can't get a job until I go to college.
Until after what?
After I go to college.
And then after you go to college, you probably going to be forced to do what?
Work for you.
Hold on, wait. Let's say it one more time. And I want you to say the same thing you just said. I said you can't get a job. You are unable, and I am forbidding you to get a job until when?
Yes. Until after I finish college.
And then after you finish college, you're going to probably be forced to do what?
Work for you.
Thank you. I don't want to have passive income. I want to put my people and my daughter in a position where she takes over a legacy that I am passing over to her. We having different conversations. This ain't the same thing that you think that it is. I want people to start understanding and start looking at and planning for generational wealth. I don't want my daughter to be subjected to what society is telling her that she should do for the next 30 years. I want her to take over something that she's been groomed for since her birth. Since birth, I've been grooming my daughter for something. I've been grooming her since she was born. Since the day that I held her inside of the delivery room, I had a conversation with her as an infant when she wasn't even 5 hours old. I had a conversation with her and I told her, your life is going to be different. I'm not sitting here working. Listen, I did that. I'm 41. 4 years ago, I did that. 4 years ago. I'm not having no conversation about being comfortable. You think I'm preaching to these people every single day about staying down for the next 10 years so that they can save up their way in order to be comfortable for the rest of their life to get some passive income? I ain't talking about passive income. I'm talking about generational wealth. It's a difference. It's a different number than who you're speaking to. So although I respect your opinion, I am not having a conversation about you about the same thing. We in two different spaces of the things that we trying to achieve respectfully. I'm going to play the rest of this video and then I'm going to give my final words.
I control 100% of my time and I control my own financial destiny. That's financial freedom. It has nothing to do with $10 million. Wherever he got that number from, I have no idea. And like I said, I'm not knocking the brother. I'm just telling you, in my opinion, that's misinformation. And that's one of the things in the black community we got to stop doing. We got to stop giving out misinformation. And again, everybody's entitled to their own opinion, guys. And I'm not saying that this gentleman, in his mind wasn't right. I'm just telling you I disagree with it and why I disagree with it. $10 million is a lot of money, guys. And like I've already told y'all, you got 1% of the population who has that type of wealth. So basically, if you're saying 10 million is a number, you got 99% of the population, not just black people. I'm talking about 99% of the entire population of the United States won't get there. You'll never have freedom. And that's discouraging. And in my opinion, that's just not correct.
And I'm not here to make you feel good. I'm here to tell you the truth. If you want something different, you're going to have to do something that's completely different from what the rest of the population is doing. It's a level of sacrifice that come along with it. If you want to be comfortable, be comfortable in your home or whatever it is. But let me tell you something. $10 million today is going to be different than from $10 million when you retire. $10 million today ain't going to hit the same way as $10 million when you retire. I'm telling you.
Also, when you go down the rabbit hole and you look at black folks' wealth in this country, we represent 4% of the wealth in the United States. That's a nothing burger, guys.
Which means we have to do better. And in order to do better, you have to start shooting, you have to start working harder, you have to start making the adjustments, and you have to raise the bar. Because I'm not going to raise the bar into the bottom of the barrel anymore. That's over. We don't compare ourselves. When you're trying to become successful, you don't compare yourself to the people in the hood. You start setting the bar a little bit differently. You start looking at it's the reason why we read the books Buffettology or Random Walk Down Wall Street, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. We study the Robert Kiyosaki's, right? We look at and we read all of these different books because we're trying to source information from people that is at the top. If that's the case, then we should only be reading information from people that only got a net worth of $1 million or more. Now, how does that make sense? Why wouldn't I study the people that got there, the Mark Cubans, right? Why wouldn't I be looking at and reading books from them? Why do I want information in order to become a 100,000-aire? which is respectable. And I'm not trying to knock those people because that's awesome because I had to come from nothing myself. But if I want generational wealth, it's a complete, I want to read a different biography. I'm reading a biography from Elon Musk, and I'm studying him and how he did it and what his mindset was in order to adjust how it is that I should expect greatness. I'm reading David Goggins. I'm reading Jeff Bezos, Invent and Wander. I'm studying the greats. I'm studying the people that did it. Look, I don't want to be a part of the 99%. I don't.
Zero. So now I'm telling black folks, because that's who watch Earn Your Leisure. Let's don't get it twisted. It's black people that watch it, right? It's black people that watch the $1 Million Morning Show, and it's black people that watch the Richard Fain YouTube channel. Let's not get it twisted. Let's just keep it 100, right? So what I'm hearing coming out of another black man's mouth is that black folks, you ain't at financial freedom unless you have $10 million. A lot of people that watch these shows watch my YouTube channel as well. And I just don't want my folks confused. That's why I'm here to set the record straight.
Well, listen, yo folks can stay over there, and I'm cool with that. I'm not trying to take your folks away from you. And I'm not trying to poach your people from you. But when your folks decide that they want to come over here to the Millionaire Morning Show and they want to align themselves with the bag chasers, and they tired of just getting the same old advice, listen, y'all might as well go and fucking listen to Boyce Watkins while you at it. Go watch paint dry. And I don't think that Richard Fain is Boyce Watkins. I think that Richard Fain is a much, much better content creator than Boyce Watkins. So let's be clear. I'm not saying that about Richard Fain. What I'm saying is when you want to go to a different level, then there's a different type of conversation that you have to have. Y'all cool over there? Stay doing what y'all do.
You do not need $10 million to get to financial freedom, guys. Financial freedom is about lifestyle. It's about taking your active income over a number of years and turn
200, right? The rule of 200. I'm assuming that we're going to go over the rule of 200, right? 4%, 6%, 10% of your active income in order to make sure that you keep the principal. You want to keep the principal and then live off the lifestyle, and you want to multiply it down. If you got $10 million and then you do the rule of 200.
Turning that active income into passive income. I take my active income, I invest it in assets that build over time. And then at some point in the future, you take those assets and you turn those assets into income. And those assets will start taking care of you. But that's the key to financial freedom, guys. $10 million is not the bar. Now, if you want that to be your bar and you're willing to go out there and bust your butt and make it happen, great. Know that, though, 1% of the population does that. And there's a reason only 1% does that, because it's hard. It ain't easy to build $10 million in assets, guys. You better have a really, really high skill set, and you better really be grinding.
And we don't sleep over here. We don't fucking sleep. I went to sleep after live streaming last night and taking care of business at 2 a.m. I was right back up at 4:30. We don't fucking sleep over here. It's different over here. It's different. This is the Navy SEALs. If you want to just join the National Guard and go through basic training and be able to get to that, then that's cool. But we fucking Navy SEALs over here. We different. It's a different set of criteria, and I push people. I meet with them in person. I link up with them. I have conversations. I build with them. I show them my W-2s. I show them my bank accounts. I show them my brokerage accounts. I show them what I'm invested in, why I'm investing in it, and how long it took me to do it. And I also show them my lifestyle to go along with it. We different over here. God bless you. If y'all want to sit and have a good time, I have no problems whatsoever, but we just fucking different over here.
So I don't want to discourage people. Oh, 10 million, I'll never get to 10 million, so I'm just not going to build wealth. No, that's the trap of the 1%, guys. That's the trap of the 1%. They want you to not believe you can build wealth. And I just...
No, you want us to not believe that you can build wealth. That's literally what you're trying to do. You're trying to convince us to be normal, Rich.
It just troubles me when I see someone that looks like me speaking to a lot of people that look like me, even though we only represent 4% of the wealth in this country. We're at the bottom of the financial totem pole. We're making it even harder for people psychologically to get where they need to get, because we're telling them, hey, if you don't have 10 million bucks, you are not going to be at financial freedom. So
no, we saying that if you don't have 10 million, you shouldn't be considering yourself as wealthy. Financial freedom is whatever it is that allows for you to be able to not have to work as hard as you don't want to in order to do what you want to do. It's a difference.
What a lot of people will do, they just won't even try. They won't even try. And that's going to keep black folks where? At the bottom of the financial totem pole forever. So we got to stop this, in my opinion. And again, I'm not knocking the guy. Hey, more power to him. Like I said, everybody has a right to say whatever they want to say in this country. We got freedom of speech. But that doesn't mean I got to agree with everything people say, right? I don't have to agree with it. I can respectfully disagree without trying to tear down somebody. And I'm not here to tear down anybody.
I agree. And we just have a difference of opinion of what we think that financial freedom and wealth looks like.
I'm sure both of those shows, the Millionaire Morning Show is a great show. I'm sure Earn Your Leisure is a great show. But sometimes great shows will have people on their show, or they'll talk about things that I disagree with. And I am just telling my audience, because I believe my audience is also a part of their audience. I want my folks to know. And anybody else.
Let me tell you who my audience is. I see my guy Ray Sean in the chat right now. Ray Sean, can I brag on you for a little bit? Just a little bit. When I got Ray Sean was just an average everyday. I'm going to work, taking care of business. I'm a therapist. I'm trying to help people. I want to do the things that's in the best interest of people. Ray Sean has been rocking with me for 2 years now. And Ray Sean sent the check in to pay off $75,000 balance in his student loans flat out as soon as the moratorium ended. That's a fact. Ray Sean next year is probably going to make the equivalent of $700,000 a year after 2 years of rocking with me. That's a fact. Ray Sean is only in his early 30s, and in 2 years, he's transitioned to make well over $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month by literally duplicating the process and then becoming a bag chaser. That's a fact, though. Ray Sean was just at the DC meetup as another extension of me to have conversations with people, and his confidence is through the roof. We had breakfast at the airport while we was getting on our first class flights. He was flying back to New York. I was flying back to Detroit, and Ray Sean is killing it. Ray Sean is projected to be 10 times more successful than me as a result of rocking with me over the last 2 years, and he's going to get there much faster than I got there, and he's going to be way more successful, probably being some form of motivation for somebody else that come along with it. If you sitting here telling me that it's not possible for somebody to take the blueprint that I did and then do it faster and better because they actually smarter than me, then you crazy. I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I don't believe it even a little bit. Not even a little bit. I seen Ray Sean talking to 3 women at the same time at the party, and that's a fact, though. You can't sit here and tell me that it's not possible. No, it's not possible for the overwhelming majority of people, and I understand that. But I'm not for everybody. I am for a select group of people that is trying to do extraordinary things, that is not just trying to live off of $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000, $9,000, $10,000 a month. And that's okay for you to want to do that, but that's not our story. That's not what we're trying to do. We're trying to change the trajectory of our families forever.
Else out there that's listening, you don't need $10 million to get to financial freedom, guys. Your financial freedom is about you. You just need to figure out 3 things: your target date, your target amount, and your target net worth. See, your target date is when you want passive income. So if you're 30 years old and you say to yourself, hey, I want passive income at 45 years old, that's the target date. The target amount is, okay, how much passive income do I need at 45 years old? Let's say you need $10,000 a month at 45 years old. And that's your financial freedom number. That's the number that'll pay for your lifestyle that you want from a passive standpoint. So now you got your target date, which is 45 years old. You got your target amount, which is $10,000 a month. Now you just need your target net worth. That target net worth is what's going to actually create the passive income, right? So you take that $10,000 in passive income you're going to need, you times it by 200, which.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? What did I tell you?
The rule of 200.
The rule of 200. The rule of 200 in order to get $10,000 a month passively, according to a lot of these experts, is $2 million, which is basically multiplication, and then you divide it by the amount of money that you're going to need on a regular basis as far as the percentages in order to break that down and not necessarily affect what it is that you got invested as the principal. It's the same information. There's another level to this, ladies and gentlemen.
Bucks. So in order to create $10,000 a month in passive income, you're gonna need $2 million in your net worth bucket, in your asset bucket. You take a 6% conservative rate of return on that $2 million. That's $120,000 a year in passive income. Divide that by 12, there's your $10,000 a month. That might be your financial freedom number. See guys, that's not $10 million. So you have to go through that exercise with those 3 things I just gave you. Target date, target amount, target net worth. Probably.
Shout out to Richard Fain. I actually like Richard Fain. We just had to bring this conversation to the front of the congregation because we got some differences in philosophy and opinion that we embrace of what success is supposed to look like. So, yeah, we're going to go from there. I want to share one more thing with you guys. I'm going to read the super chat shortly. I want to share one more thing with you guys before we get up out of here. And, of course, we got to go over to see what the general sentiment of the people is out here in these streets as far as what the cost of living is and how they're being affected by what's happening out in these streets. Again, I'm going to read the super chat shortly. Make sure y'all tap into the Patreon. Link is in the description, as well as pinned to the top of the chat. It's a lot of people saying that they're struggling to avoid housing. A lot of people are saying that they're struggling to avoid housing. Let me go over there and switch over to them and see what their sentiment is. And then we're going to go from there. Again, make sure you guys, no matter what platform that you're on, hit a like for the algorithm. Let's get to it.
Does anybody else miss the days where you could rent like a house or an apartment for like $1,000? Like, I remember first moving out on my own, and I think my apartment was like maybe like $945 or something like that. Like, really wasn't that bad. And now we just moved to the south, got our new house, paying rent, and we're paying $2,100. And I know that might not be a lot to some of you guys, but for rent, that is crazy.
Now, remember that last conversation that we had about financial freedom? It hit a little bit different now, don't it? You know why it hit a little bit different? Because the price of the brick is going up. The price of the brick is going up all the way across the board. And people are being affected by inflation, lifestyle changes, interest rates, that whole thing. You have to continue to evolve, and you have to, at the very least, beat the rate of inflation in order to maintain a lifestyle. The rent is going up. Lifestyle changing. You might want to put your kids through college. What if you decide that, listen, what if you passively are making $10,000 a month and that's financial freedom for you? But then 5 years from then, when you first started that journey, you say, you know what? But I actually got higher dreams. What if I want my dream car? What if I want my dream car?
I don't know if y'all saw that article where it talked about over 70,000 evictions have been filed in Atlanta, Georgia from this year, January, up until like now. And it just, one, made me grateful that I'm here surviving, but two, it also made me realize like a lot of people are struggling behind closed doors. And it's just rough for everybody. Everybody's penny pinching. Everybody's, denying themselves certain luxuries. Like, it's really, really hard out here. And who knows when it's going to get better. I was talking to my friend and I was like asking her what she thought about it because she did leasing. And she was saying like there really does need to be some rental control here in Atlanta just alone, where it's just like a 1-bedroom, 600 square feet. It's costing like $1,800.
My goal is not to be living and begging and asking somebody for rent control and affordable housing. I don't want to have to worry about that. I don't want to ever have to have my daughter worry about that. I don't ever want my daughter's kids, if she decides to have some, to ever have to worry about that. And it's unfortunate. I'm not even going to kid you. It's unfortunate. I've been there, done that. I've been poor before, right? This is the curse that they are trying to teach you and trying to get you to be a part of. They want to keep you as a part of the rat race. Listen, I don't believe that there's ever a such thing as passive income. That is the biggest myth that they're teaching you. I don't believe in passive income. I don't. I believe that there's income that comes along with, there's an easier way for you to continue to make money, but you have to be a participant in your own success. You have to work that thing. You have to work that thing. You just do. You got to figure it out. You got to get in the mud. You got to stop complaining. These are people that are baby-faced. I don't know if they got filters on or what, but most of these people that are in this, that are watching this, are baby-faced. Did y'all know that I believe it's like listen, on average, and correct me if I'm wrong, this number might be slightly off. There are roughly 1,700 people that become millionaires every day. Look, Aurora, she want to keep y'all down. She want to keep y'all discouraged. The majority of people on this platform right now will still not make $10 million. Richard Fain is not preaching mediocrity. He's keeping it real. No, he's not. We need to stop. You know where keeping it real came from? That came from your favorite motherfucking rapper that told you that keeping it real, and they not even nothing. Keeping it real came from a place of poverty. The very statement of keeping it real came from a place of poverty. It came from people that were making excuses for their circumstances and they had no options to be able to offer you. That's not what we advocate for here. I don't give a fuck if you never get to $10 million. I'm going to push you there in order to ensure at the very least you get to 2 or 3. Listen, you keep it real where you came from. Don't keep it fucking real over here. We keeping it abundant. We don't move based off of poverty. We move based off of abundance. And faith without works is dead. So this is not a pie in the sky thing. This is me giving you my real life, showing you how I did it, and then letting you refine the process at an earlier age in order to be able to achieve the same results that I got long term. And so we have conversations about money. And the reason why we have conversations about money and we understand where it comes, listen, we have people in our Discord that helps you get government contracts. We have people in our Discord that points you in the right direction and network as far as giving you the level up of how it is that you can make $200,000 and $300,000 a year. We help you to understand how it is that you can monetize your platforms more effectively when it comes to content creation. We help you get your businesses started and we fund those businesses. So I'm not just giving you motherfucking information. At the end of the month, we literally giving away $1,000 and $2,000 in order for you to be able to vet out your concept effectively. We put money up for people. We don't borrow from banks. We don't do any of that type of shit. We just put our own money up and I show you the receipts that go along with it. We help you to understand how to market your business more effectively and pair you with the right people in order to make the right connections so that you can then get the funding that you need in order to be successful. And also understand that it's not just having a great product, it's how you market that product more effectively. We break it down almost to a science. We don't speak in theory. We don't speak in generalities. We don't talk this real estate bullshit that they give you these hard money loans and all of this other type of stuff. We don't tell you to finance for 30 years. We don't do none of that shit. We point you in the right direction. We push you. We tell you to lower your lifestyle for the next 10 years in order to be able to get there. And then you'll have residual income that you can then reinvest that compounds over a period of time that makes you incredibly rich, that is substantiated by the same text that we read every single day as far as the Buffettologies, the random walk down Wall Streets, all of these things, right? And so this is not a theory. This is not fucking keeping it real. This is keeping it rich. It's a difference. Look, if you want to be in a space where you want to be around people that make you feel good about yourself, then go keep it real with them motherfuckers. But don't come over here talking that shit to my people because we not about that life. We in a different space, in a different zone, and we want different results. We not sitting here trying to have conversations based off of who's the best of poverty-stricken people. I don't want to be around a bunch of poverty-stricken people. I want everybody sitting at the courtside with me having a good time, and then all of the rest of the people still keeping it real in the stands, looking at the people looking like dots on the fucking court. I don't want to be around those type of people. Stop trying to convince my people to be broke. Stop that shit. Stop trying to live a mediocre life and then you want to sit here and have a conversation talking about you want to be around a 6-figure dude. 6 figures ain't even listen, 250 from
and people are being forced to pay it, and your safety is being questioned because it's just like, if I do take the whatever is the cheaper apartments now, which the cheaper apartments, shit, they ain't too cheaper priced than the luxury apartments. So it just made me realize, like, damn, like, we're really living in some harsh times, and it sucks to be an adult around this time because it's like, damn, like, you can't do anything.
Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you. Another one, thank you.
There is not a single state, city, or county where a worker can afford a 2-bedroom rental at minimum wage. These are the updated stats for 2023, and even if we raise the wage to $15 an hour, you still wouldn't be able to afford a 2-bedroom rental home. And I'm sick and tired of seeing comments saying that a minimum wage was never supposed to be a living wage. Like, you don't know what you're talking about, bro, because FDR literally created it for that very reason. And it's not just minimum wage workers. 60% of